Good morning, my name is Jennifer, and this morning I'm going to make a Brie cheese. I have 2 gallons of milk here, it's 94 degrees. I'm going to put it into this mold right now. This has a cambazola in it. This is 3 gallons, so you can see how it's that high. And I want my Brie cheese to be a little lower, like that much. So I'm just doing a 2-gallon cheese. Originally, Brie cheeses are 3 gallons of milk into a mold that is 15 inches in diameter, so about like that big. They're thin and really round. So I'm making just a little smaller version of that. This calls for 2 skewer tips of Geotrichum candidum, Geo17. I am not going to measure with skewer tips. I am going to take a pinch. And I'm going to say that's a skewer tip and a half. Sprinkle that on. And it calls for a 1/16 of Penicillium candidum. So it should be a scant 1/16, so I'm going to do a scant quarter. I'm going to let this rehydrate for 2 minutes. I'm going to stir in those cultures. I need a 1/4 cup of Clabber for each gallon of milk, so this is about 1/2 cup. But first I have to get another jar started. If you want to see a whole video on how to make your own Clabber, it is quite easy. I will share a link to that right here. It looks kind of like just frothy milk right now. And I'll pour in this Clabber. For a Brie cheese, it's 1/8 teaspoon of rennet per gallon of milk, so it's 1/4 teaspoon for 2 gallons. A little water. So you can see all that cream. Adding the rennet. About 30 minutes later, and I'll come back and check for a clean break. And I don't think it's set up yet, because if you see how it jiggles. Yeah, oh, it's not, that's not set up at all. Huh, well, shoot. We're going to give it another 20 minutes. Looks a little better. Oh, yes, it's set up. Whew. I was so nervous. I'm going to give it another 10 minutes. It's still a soft curd, but you can see how it's splitting pretty nicely. I'm supposed to cut this into 3/4 inch cubes. It is now supposed to sit for 15 to 30 minutes while the pH drops. Because this took longer to set up with the rennet, I'm going to only do this for 15 minutes and then we'll move on to the next step. At this point, what happens is a process of stirring gently, letting it rest for 15 to 30 minutes, stirring it again gently, letting it rest for 15 to 30 minutes, and just keep doing this off heat. The curds are supposed to shrink and be a consistent texture throughout. At the end, you're supposed to have like 3/4 inch of whey over top of the curds. All right, just giving this a gentle stir. It feels cool. There's no way this is 94 degrees anymore. So I'm just kind of loosening these up. This is super huge, so see, I'll pop that open. Take some of these a little bit bigger ones, split them, but I'm not gonna worry about it too much at this point because it's still starting out. That's the first stir. I'm gonna let it go for about 10 minutes and I'll come back. So you can see there's some whey, but it's not 3/4 inch. I'm gonna give this another quick stir. It says that at the end of the stirring process, the curds should be 86 to 88 degrees. So I am gonna temp these. Oh, better than I thought. We're at 88. You're not supposed to add heat to this at this point, but if the room is cold, you can apply a little heat to the vat. Now you can see it's sinking a little bit lower, right to there, so it's maybe about 1/2 inch. It needs a little bit more. They don't feel even all the way through. These parts in the middle feel a little bit wetter. It feels more rubbery than I thought, a little bit drier. I don't know if that's right. I don't see any curds, so I'm gonna say it's good to go. I have a big kettle to catch the whey. I have this thingy here to hold the thingamabob. I have the mold in here. This is the scoop I'm gonna use. I just got it out of the drawer. I'm gonna spray it with the vinegar, and then I just rinse it off with water. Peeing whey. It's kind of cute. And the last wee bit. All right, it's getting down there. There's still quite a bit of whey though. I'm gonna let it drain here a little longer. Shh. Do you hear that? It stopped peeing. I think it's ready to go over there and get set up. I am going to flip this in an hour, then flip it another hour later. I'm just gonna keep after this for a little bit. I have a bamboo mat here that's gonna be the top part of the sandwich. It's sunk down a good bit. I'm going to put this on a plate first while I try to clean up this way. This is the first flip. Woo, it's slippery. Oh, it's coming out of there. Don't come out, don't come out. Yikes, that went to the very edge. Putting this on top to weight it down, and I will come back in an hour and flip it again. Hold it together, get rid of this. Get your hand underneath it, just flip. This one's coming together nicely. Hasn't fallen yet. Come on. Well, shoot. There it goes. You hear it. It's supposed to be 12 hours from the start of the flips to the end. This has been like the first 6 hours, and now it's almost nighttime, so I'm not going to take it out of here until the morning. Now we are going to salt it. This has been in the press a good 8 hours longer than it should be in there. But it's cool in this house. Look at that. It looks beautiful. Oh, it smells buttery. I just got a huge whiff of that. Let's first see how much whey has come out. That much. We're going to weigh it first in grams because I have to measure the salt, and that's in grams, so I want to keep the units the same. I'm going to flip it while I'm doing this. Oh, it's very soft. That is 1573. And let's change it to pounds. 3 pounds and 7.5 ounces. For a 2-gallon cheese, excellent. The recipe says to salt it 1.9% salt or 2.1% salt, somewhere in there. So right around 2% salt. I do it usually 2.5% salt. That's what I did last time, and it was fine. I like salt. Maybe it retards the growth of the molds on the outside. That is a good chance. Maybe I should do it less. Let's do 2% salt and see what we get. 1573 grams, that's what the cheese is, times 0.02% for the salt equals 1.46. So basically, let's just say 32 grams. You don't need to salt the sides, just the top and bottom, both ends like this. So this is about half of the salt. And it feels wet. It feels kind of like it's mushing in a little bit. I'm going to do a little bit around the sides. And if you like sprinkle it down, it catches against your hand, and then you just kind of rub your hand on it and then flip it and put the other half on this side. I'm going to add just a little more so I can get a little more on the sides. So we'll say that's good. So just gonna let this sit at room temperature with the top over it. Airflow still happening. That is too dangerous. There could be mice. I'll flip it in a little bit. And if it's not draining too much, I'll take this away and put it on the lid with the mat. That's a better seal so no mice can get in. I'm concerned about these little gaps right here where mice could get in. Now it is time to put it into an aging box and let it develop its white mold rindy thing. I'm going to put it down in my cheese cave. So I'm going to flip it because I haven't flipped it since I put it on this mat. It's looking very nice. There's still a little bit of salt on the top. That's fine. And then I think this should work. Perfect. There's air around the side. This is not much space. Usually you want maybe a little bit more space around a cheese that is in a container. But because there is air underneath like that and it's moving, I think it's going to be okay. I was going to put it in my cheese cave downstairs, but maybe I'll just keep it in the downstairs bedroom for now. It's cold enough, probably has a little bit better airflow, and no mice can get this, I don't think. There's no mice right now, but I've had mice before, so I'm a little bit paranoid. So into the bedroom this goes. The window's open, it's cold, and there's a fan going. There's nothing really to be done with this brie except flip it. See if any way's coming off. Nope, no way. And then put it back in the room. That's it. Ooh, look, we got some mold. It's getting soft and felty looking, mostly on the top, but I can see it on the sides too. It doesn't smell great, but the other one I made that was really good didn't smell great either, so we'll say that's good. Look at that mold. See the sides? There's little patches of it, and it's looking felty on top. Really pretty. So I'm flipping this once a day just to make sure that it doesn't stick to the mat. Feels soft. Just peel that off. I'll just wipe that up. Make sure it's not wet. Looks good. The coating is uneven, which is okay. Smells a little funky. Super fuzzy. Feels soft and squishy like a soft bunny rabbit. It smells like mushrooms, which is not bad. I think that's probably good enough to wrap it up. I'm gonna wrap it tomorrow though. Oh yeah, it's feeling fluffy. It feels much more fluffy than it did yesterday. This is good. Once you've got full coverage of mold, then it's time to either pat it down with your hands or wrap it. This is complete mold growth. It feels like a fuzzy wuzzy bear. It's beautiful and soft and plush. These are the big wraps that I just got at New England Cheesemaking Supply. They are 2-ply, so there's 2 sheets to them. One side is shiny and one side is dull. The dull side is supposed to go towards the cheese and the shiny side is out. Right here's the 2-ply. So it's like attached together, but it's like these 2 things and it makes it breathable. So we're gonna wrap this up and continue aging. So dull, shiny. See my handprint? You just take this and put it down, and then I just kind of like pull as you're going up and just keep pulling this down, and it kind of like lifts and brings it over. So you're doing little sections. I'm not good at this, just so you know, but this is the best way I found. Feels like you're making like a little package, you're wrapping it up and making a little bouquet. It's kind of cool. It's just regular masking tape, and that's it. That's going down at 50 degrees to continue aging. Hey, I don't remember what I told you about the Brie cheese, but I think I said it's supposed to go at 50 degrees for a few weeks. It's actually supposed to be wrapped and placed in the fridge, and we'll just let that continue to age for another 4 to 6 weeks. It has been aging in the fridge for the past 8 weeks-ish. From what I understand, it's ready to eat at any time, depending on the level of ripeness that you want. I have not noticed this changing at all, and it still feels firm. It just doesn't really ever change. So I'm a little bit concerned about testing it. Maybe I'll just do a core sample today. It looks beautiful. This is still fridge temps. I just got it out, but well, there's a little splooshy there. It doesn't smell at all ammonia-y. I think it's definitely not done. It's good, it's super mild, nice cheese, but it is not creamy. The inside is more chalky, pasty, and dryish. Around the edge, it is getting a little bit creamy, but it should be much more than this. The recipe I followed, Mastering Artisan Cheesemaking, says that once you have mold growth, you're supposed to wrap it, put it in the fridge, which is what I have done. And another book says once you have the mold growth, wrap it and continue aging it at 55 degrees. So, course correction, I'm just gonna mash up 2 recipes. Aging it for 2 months in the fridge is not getting the desired creamy texture. So I am going to wrap this up again and I'm going to put it down in my wine fridge and let it go for another month, and we'll try it then. Hopefully it'll continue to do good things. I am worried about this cheese. I do not think it's going to be good. I just don't know, like if I age it for forever, is it going to rot? So I'm going to check on it today. Oh. What is that smell? It smells like brie, like major brie. Is that slime? There's like slime on that. Ew. Like yellowness. I can tell it's getting squishier on the edge. Because see, I can poke. It's getting squishy there, but it feels a little, well, I don't know, we'll see. Is this rotting? It actually smells good, I think. Can't tell. So that feels hard. That feels soft. Ooh, it's kind of like dissolving. Like that is not okay. That sliminess I'm getting on my hands, not cool. Oh, look, it's cracking already. See, this is falling apart right there. Maybe that's why I did a core test. This is like a bee linen. It's gotten bee linen contamination. Right here, it's soft. That's gross. Should I pat this off? I guess nothing really happened, but I think this cheese might be going to the piggies. It was really hard in the middle. Not cool. Rind is not right. That is so not right. It smells like brie though. It's very buttery and creamy there, but the inside is dry. Does it just need more aging time? I don't know what to make of it. So this part right here is the creamy part, and that's nice. I love the creamy part around the edge. That's the good part. And the inside is harder and kind of, chalky is not the right word, but just kind of dry. I mean, it is buttery. You bite it off and it crumbles into your mouth, but then it kind of melts. Similar to a blue cheese. Actually, in some ways, this reminds me of a blue cheese, minus the blue. if that makes any sense. This makes me wonder if this just needed more aging time. I was just afraid of how long this was going. I was thinking it might like be getting moldy, or it might be getting ammonia smell, and you don't want it to go too far, but it just needs more time perhaps. So you can see this part right here, like this is creamier. Right there, that part is soft. And then this part is like the crumbly part where I can't even get my nails into it. There you go, see, it's like that. I'm gonna blame this on the instructions that told me to put this in a fridge at regular fridge temps and not at 55 degrees. It is so important to find instructions that actually are good instructions. And this is a trusted cookbook, but cookbooks have typos. The salt level's good, whatever that's worth. Okay, so you know how I was so upset about the brie? I actually considered throwing this brie out. So I decided, nope, just gonna cut it up into wedges, stick it in the fridge, deal with it later. And then a friend of mine came and she wanted to try it. She's like, this is really good. It's not brie, but it's really good. And she took a whole bunch and it continued to sit in the fridge. And then I put it on a cheese plate and this one guy was like, this is really good. It's not brie. It's almost like a blue flavor, but without any blue. And I was eating it and I was like, you know, he's right. This is a really good cheese. And there's a really strong, pungent flavor with it that's pleasing. It's very creamy and soft. I think it's actually getting better in the fridge. I've decided that I really like this cheese. It's not what I thought it was going to be. It's something completely different. That's why I'm showing you this whole recipe, because who's behind me? Because I feel like, ah! I knew you were there! Get out of here! I feel like these nuances are valuable and hopefully will help you become a better cheesemaker. The moral of the story is you do something a little bit different and you get a different cheese and it's really good. And that's fun. And that, my friends, is the story of the brie that wasn't.